Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Welcome to this stream today of Whakawhitinga. So Whakawhitinga is a game that I wrote. So my name is Riwhi. I use he, him, ihr pronouns. I am here today with Mel, she, her, ihr pronouns, and Tom, he, him, ihr pronouns. So really quick, a little bit about the game. So Whakawhitinga is a Te Ao Māori informed world building game. That follows the creation story or pūrākau of He Timatanga o Te Ao, so the creation of the world. And we'll be working through 5 phases today. And the main mechanic is that we are world building through asking and answering questions. So a little bit about just the stream stuff. We have some giveaways running today. You can enter those by typing in chat when they come up. The lovely Mel will be running a lot of those. And get in to win some cool stuff. There's some really cool games, including some copies of this game itself. Yeah, so to start off, I'm going to open with a karakia, which myself and my lovely friend Rua Topere wrote especially for this game. So I'll say it in Te Reo Māori and then say the Te Reo Pākehā translation. He karakia tātou, e te timatanga ko te kore, mai I te kore ko te pō, mai I te pō ko te ao marama, kei te pū ke he tātou, hā ki roto, hā ki waho, ka tupu tātou katoa, pērā I ngā mata o te marama, pērā hoki I ngā mata o te ao, kua tupu tātou katoa, tūturu whakamaua kia tīna,
Tina.
Homie, huie,
Taikia.
Kia ora. So, the translation of that little karakia. In the beginning, there was te kore. From te kore came te pō. From te pō came te ao marama. We are flowing. Breathe in, breathe out. We will all change. Like the phases of the moon, like the phases of the world, we will all change. Hold fast, draw together, affirm. Lovely. So after the karakia, the next step in this game is to do a bit of whakawhanaungatanga. So we will be sharing a pepeha if we have one or no one, or a connection that we have to a place, whether that's where we grew up, or just a place that we kind of call our tūranga waiwai. So perhaps I should start, maybe?
You start.
Beautiful.
Please.
Okay. Here we go. Tēnā koutou, ko taki timu te waka, ko oti auheke te maunga, ko owaiti te awa, ko onuku te marae, ko karaweko te wharetupuna, ko ngai tahu te iwi, ko ngati erakehu te hapu, te ahu pātaki te maunga, ko koko rarata te awa, ko tuta huarewa te marae, ko maunga tere te maunga, ko raka huri te awa, ko tuahiwa te marae, ko ngai tuahuriri te hapu, ko toku maru te waka, ko te tara o te marama me piripiri te maunga, ko waitohi te awa, ko waikawa te marae, ko te atiawa te iwi, ko taranaki te maunga, ko waitara te awa, ko owai te marae, ko korehi me Ngāti Rāheri te hapu, he uria hou ngō kariki I te taha papa, no Krokos Kozani te kāinga o oku taua, ko Kenny me raua ko te turis oku whānau, ko Riwhi Kenny ahau, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. So that's my very long pepeha.
Kia ora. You're from all over the place.
I am, yeah, up south, down south, up north. Yeah, but kind of mainly from, or I call Picton my home, even though I never properly lived there, but lots of family from there. Shall I pass to Mel?
Yes. Kia ora. My pepeha has gone out of my head entirely because I did a work jump into the swimming pool, the outdoor unheated swimming pool today, and a second language is not currently a supported activity. When I think about how the landscape has influenced me, I always think about the southerly. I spent my early years in Wellington, then I moved up the coast to Kapiti, and now I'm back in Wellington. And it's always the cold air coming off the Arctic. And this is probably why I relate so closely to Whakatoki Te Ho. Am I saying? Have I got that right? And everyone always says, "Oh, it's just a basic." that's basic bitch karakia. But no, I like it.
I learned recently that karakia actually came from Takitimu, the waka.
Yeah.
Was apparently
Where's that
part
one?
of that story. Um, that's a good question. I think that's up Taranaki way as
Oh,
Takitimu, maybe. Could be
that
wrong.
makes sense. That's where the family history of landing with the Hadfield settlers
Ah,
is. My family built a lot of the biggest buildings in that part of the world. So
hmm, there we go.
then everything went pear shaped, and then they took my great grandmother 3 tries to immigrate to New Zealand.
Hmm.
She really meant it. Right, Tom, tell us about yourself.
Certainly. So I'm actually sorry. First, kia ora. First off, so on one side of my family, my dad's side, I'm actually a first generation New Zealander because my dad was born in Hampshire in England and came over here when he was I think 12 or 13. On the other side of the family, I think I'm fourth or fifth generation. My ancestors there came over to well, some of them from Croatia to dig gum up north, and others a little bit later on from Ireland and Scotland. Um, what I suppose where my home, my place of origin was is I was born in Auckland, and a place around Auckland of real significance to me is Piha, specifically the beach that's been showcased as the lovely, peaceful swimming spot it is on Piha Rescue. I'm not sure if that's still going or not, but we had many really wonderful holidays at Piha when I was growing up. We owned a little a caravan in the caravan park, and I've got very fond memories of boogie boogie at the beach and sitting in the caravan refusing to go out in the sun because I had a book to finish off. Yeah, then more recently, Wellington has become my home for first for university, and then because of the people I'd gotten to know and come to love here. Also for the abundant blessings of Tawhiri. It is wonderful to be here. I overheat very easily, and having cooling gale, just temperature regulating. It's amazing. Um, it's very nice to be here.
Well,
Yeah, that's me.
kia ora, korua. So we are going to now jump into the rest of the game now that we have done karakia and whakawhanaungatanga. Starting with he timatanga, so the beginning section, and with each element of that as we move into the different phases, we all share some words about that are pre-written in the game about the phase and what to expect in the phase. So we are starting off today with Mel as our Matamua, who is the first person who begins reading. So over to you,
Alright.
Mel.
Te Kore is a place of chaos, of the potential of all the world to come.
Next came Te Po, the perpetual night. In this space, the beginning of the world we know now. Sorry, the beginning of the world we know now began to be realized.
After Te Po came Te Ao Marama, the world of light and life. The world came alive and life began.
In between, the world shifted, transmuted, changed. What lay within these places of transition?
This is a game of following that story, deciding what came before and where we will go next.
So that was He Timatanga, little short phase. Now we move into Te Kore, which is the first of our core phases. So in this one, we do that again, where we read out some words about the phase and what to expect. And then we will go into our question rounds, which we have 3 rounds per phase, per core phase, where we will all ask a question each about some specific concepts and topics. And then we will choose one to answer, which can be our own or other people's. And then we do that 3 times. So over to you, Tom, who is our kai timata for this one.
Thank you. We begin in Te Kore, the void, the great nothingness. Here there is nothing. Nothing above, nothing below.
Time does not exist yet. Everything is suspended in waiting. Here, anything could happen. This is a place of potential.
This is the place where everything will one day be.
We are, together, the forces of the universe.
We walk backwards into the future, our eyes fixed on the past.
Right.
So Tom gets first question.
Tom does get first question, yes.
And the topic of the questions is spirituality, concepts, deities, time, and values.
I think my question for this first round is in this world, how is time divided up?
Has somebody gone with full metric time?
Beautiful. I think I'm next. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Okay. My question is, what relationship do our main deities have to each other? Is it familial? Is it romantic? Is it, what is the relationship between them?
And I think that considering it is Matariki, where do the dead go?
Oh,
Very nice. Okay. Jumping into the claiming section, does anyone have a question that they are feeling they really want to answer?
I want to go answer the time one.
Yep.
okay.
Tom?
It's a maths question.
Sorry, pardon?
It's a maths question.
Oh, I see, yes. I'm quite interested in the relationship between deities.
That's great, because I was very interested in the Mel's question of where did the dead go.
Hey!
So this works out great. And just for our audience at home, with the deciding who does who, if there's any disagreement, you just have to talk it out until you come to agreement on who answers what. Okay. So then we answer them. I wrote in the rules in the order that they were asked. But if we need more time to think, we can also play with that. Do you have an answer yet, Mel, or you need some time?
How is time divided up? It is divided into 10 tens. Yes.
Okay.
Because nobody ever does metric time.
It's true.
And so yes, groups of 10, and then 10, and then 10, and then at the end of 10 days, then you get a break, and then at the end of 10, let's call them weeks, then you get a break of 1/10. So 9 days on, 1 day off. 9 days on, 1 day off. And then you do that 9 times, and then you get 1 week off. And then you do it again for years. So you get 9 years on and then 1 year off.
Ooh, that's fun.
And that time that your year off is meant to be spent in learning something.
Sure.
Very cool.
Makes sense.
And that this time scale matches the seasons close enough that nobody argues. There might be a quarter day somewhere around, but
Right.
That can be waved away.
yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Okay.
Super Mel. Okay, Tom.
Wow, the relationship between deities. Well, it's what I'm gonna say is that there are so they are like a family, but they are 10 aspects of the first primordial force.
Ooh.
So they form a sort of familial kind of bond, I suppose, as siblings. But they are each a fragment of a primordial creative force that wanted to see with more than one perspective, and so divided itself.
Ooh, that's cool. Very nice. Okay, where do the dead go? I think getting a little bit into some of the future topics, but I'm allowed to. I think there are across the land 10 quite large mountains. And I think each of these mountains is aligned with one of those fragments, one of those sibling forces of that primordial force. And I think that the dead are told to go burrow into the earth under those mountains, as aligned with which of those fragments of that primordial force that they most represent or are aligned with in life.
Cool.
Excellent.
I like that. I like
This
that a
is
lot.
fun. Even just in round one, we've established a lot of things about our world.
Yes.
Excellent.
Indeed.
So we come to round 2 of phase 1.
And does Tom start this one?
Tom does start this one, yes.
Okay.
Spirituality, concept, deities, time, and values of this world. All right. How are the aspects? Sorry, what? Yeah. How are the aspects? What's the word I'm looking for? Acknowledged in people's lives.
So the deities or just the aspects?
Well, each deity is an aspect.
Yes, but are we talking? Okay, right.
Sorry. How are the deity aspects
Okay.
acknowledged or honoured
Cool.
in people's daily lives?
Nice. I guess it's me next. What? Ooh, I feel like I want to go something about I have an idea, but it's not coming into my brain. It's not wording right. What value Like, yeah, what value does the primordial... No, hang on. No, yeah, I'm gonna go with it. What value does the kind of splitting of that primordial deity in that first kind of creation story, splitting, what does that teach our world? Like, what is that telling the people in
Ooh.
our world?
Okay. I really like that.
Mm.
The spirituality, concepts, deities, time, and values. What is outside of our world?
Ooh,
Oh. Okay.
As seen from the inside.
yeah. Can I really quickly claim Mel's one? I really like that.
Sure.
I'm jumping in.
Love it, yeah.
And then I'll take Tom's one.
That's actually perfect because I was kind of going for Riwhi's one.
Great.
I was thinking,
Perfect.
that's a good one.
How are they acknowledged in the daily lives? I think that there are people who split their day into 10 and acknowledge the aspects or slash deities every 2 hours, all day, every day. But that is not how most people do it, because those people have been sleep deprived for a very long time. And well, maybe they only do it for 9 days, and then they spend the 10th day sleeping because they've had
Crashing
to
out.
at some point.
Yeah.
But most people don't do it. Don't take the whole day every day.
I guess the people that do would be the equivalent of monks.
Yes, they would be the equivalent of monks. They are they live extremely cloistered lives.
Ascetic, cloistered. Yeah.
And some people do that and they thrive there, and some people try it for a little bit and they hate it. But in day-to-day life, most people they find a rhythm, and for lots of people that's on their day off, they spend a bit of time working their way through the cycles. So on their day off, they say, today I shall be acknowledging the first principle, and then 10 days later, today is the second principle. And it's seen as a sign that you're super in sync with somebody if you've synced up your acknowledgement cycles.
Which right.
Synced up your acknowledgement period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if you meet someone who is just like not syncing with you, then probably it's because they're not acknowledging the aspects in the same sequence as you. So they're always on an upswing when you're on a downswing, that sort of thing. But
that's cool.
It's very individualistic, I think. Like there are places to go, but you don't. It's not considered like out there to not go to them. It's just it's maybe the aspect that's most closely related to community stuff. Then you go to the place for that.
Right.
But some days you don't. Maybe some days you go to the market instead. Yeah.
Very cool.
Okay.
Right. What value do we see from splitting the primordial?
I think that the teaching people take from the story of how that happened is kind of the look at it's looking at things and being able to consider the world around you, consider others from more than just one perspective of your own.
Ooh.
Because we are well, as the primordial was once one pair of eyes looking at the void, and then became 10 pairs of eyes looking upon what was created. It is important for us to. It's important for us to consider other people's perspectives, but it's also important to consider that while we have our individual perspectives, we are in a sense also we're also one,
Mm-hmm.
in that we form part of our family units, part of our friends groups, part of our communities, and we can. There is also value in considering the one perspective, insofar as that goes, of those larger units of which we form a part.
Oh, I like that.
Mm.
Kind of like both unity, like unity in diversity, and then diversity in unity as well.
Mm.
Kind of flipping.
Yeah.
Very
Yes,
cool.
that's a very good summary. Yes, yes, yeah. That's
Okay.
what he said. Yes.
What is outside our world? So I would like to introduce a new element to our world, is
Mm-hmm.
playing with like lightness and darkness.
Ooh.
So I think in our view, the outside of our world is from where we sit in our world is very dark, and when you go outside that, it's very dark. But actually, our teachings show that that darkness is actually made up of all of the colors of light. So it's like so light that it actually appears dark.
Yes.
Because if you know,
Beautiful.
that is like, it's like every color makes black, but then also every color makes white, depending on how you're looking at it.
Yep.
So that is
Yeah.
what is outside of our world,
Yeah.
is blackness and darkness, but also lightness.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Depends whether you're combining lights or paints.
Indeed.
Well, it's the real world version of it, at least.
Yes. Yeah, CMYK versus RGB. Okay, and then we come to round 3.
Yes. What is our first question, Riwhi?
I think it's Tom again.
Yes. So I think possibly I learned. Think
Oh,
it's
so you
the
start. You start every
same
time.
person
Yes.
each
Sorry.
round of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah,
Sorry. Right. What's a good open-ended kind of thing? If anyone else has got an idea, I'm just.
I've got one, I think.
Yeah.
Is the relationships between the aspects, the deities aspects, is there any conflict? Is it all peaceful? What is kind of those interpersonal, like state of their relationships?
Mm-hmm. All right. So I'm thinking, what's what do people believe about that darkness or that other light that is outside of the world they know? Do they believe that? Do they believe that there are other people there? If there are other people, are they the children of other primordial forces? Or yeah,
Ooh, I like that.
That's cool.
Are we doing polytheism as a monotheist or like?
yeah.
What happens when the deities walk the earth?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Well, walk the world.
Point.
Cool. Does anyone have strong thoughts on which one they want to answer?
I could go for Riwhi's question.
Cool.
I can go for Tom's question.
Great.
Oh,
And I will go for Mel's.
Keep asking. Keep going for the first one.
Don't forget you can also choose your own question to answer.
I know, but
Cool. Well,
that's like
yeah.
buying your own birthday cake. Yeah,
Which is delicious because you get the cake that you want exactly.
yeah, I know.
that's
But
actually that's actually true. There's probably a life lesson in there somewhere actually
I
as well.
think so. Yes.
Well,
Okay. About the space outside the world where the colors run together so much they turn into simultaneously black and white. And is there anybody out there? I think that there is things out there that are believed to be out there, and that if you can really focus on one element, then you might be able to get there. I think some of the spaces are very focused, so some of the spaces out there are only made up of one aspect, and so well, I'm gonna have to name one of these aspects, otherwise the grammar's going to get ridiculous. Okay, so one of these aspects is cozy.
Oh.
okay.
And not everybody can be eternally cozy, because
Yeah.
then you don't get any food. And lots of the plants need to have cold times in order to grow. So the if you can focus properly, you could follow the path of cozy out of the world into the blackness lightness and find a realm that is entirely cozy. But then time won't happen for you while you're there, and you can't grow because you don't because you that's one of the aspects of coziness, is you sit in a timeless bubble of not needing things. But obviously the whole world couldn't be cozy, because otherwise there would be no groceries. But there are other aspects which that you would be very unhappy if you found yourself in the aspect in some of these other realms, and some of them are kind of mix and match as well. So they've got three elements, and But that's why this is the best place. Because it's got all
Right.
10 of them.
This is what. Right.
Yeah.
And that's what's outside the
Right.
world, is
Very cool.
a patchwork of the aspects and different permutations and different amounts.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. Right.
So, and the deities and the aspects conflicting. Do they conflict, or do they vibe?
Well, I think you get any group of siblings together, right? And yeah, I think you get any group of siblings together. There are gonna be there's going to be some friction, just both from just some. I think some of them maybe form pairs that are in opposition to each other, just by their very nature. But more importantly, you get a group of siblings together, and there's going to be a bit of strife over when when we were 10, they they stole my bike, and then wrecked it. Well, yeah, well, I stole your bike because I stole your bike because you upstaged my birthday party. Now I'm not I'm not saying that these siblings literally did that kind of thing, but I think there's a whole history of siblings being siblings to one another. So yes, of course there is conflict, but as with I think that as with hopefully healthy families, they are above whatever friction they've got between one or another, or those two, above all of their individual friction with one another. I think, as with a healthy group of siblings, they ultimately love each other very dearly, and they are each other's. They are each other's. They are.
And they, the instant anything else smack talks one of them,
Exactly.
there's 9 of them turning around and going, "Excuse me, what did you say?"
Excuse me.
The shovel talks are brutal,
Yeah. I'm sorry. There's only there are only 9 people allowed to call them a shithead.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
those 9 people are all in this room.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Very good. Okay, I think what happens when the deities walk the world, I think each of the deities has like, because obviously they have, we've got those aspects. We've defined one of them as like cozy.
Mhm.
I think each of them has like an associated natural disaster of like, coziness might actually be something like a wildfire because that's a lot of warmth. Maybe if one of them is cold, then that would be like a cold snap or a freeze or something. And potentially some of these like natural disasters are like ones that we can't even comprehend, but it's just that aspect taken to an extreme.
Yeah.
But I think with each of them, there is like an awareness of one. It's kind of it is like a miracle when our aspects and deities are coming down. But there's always like within all of them, there's after a fire that allows new growth. So like there is that initial bad, people die, people getting hurt, resources being lost. But for each of these 10 natural disasters, there's always like a positive to it that is identified with each of them. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
So,
That sounds.
people would be, I guess, at once happy, but also kind of weary of
Yeah.
kind of weary about one or another aspect.
Yeah, so it's like both like
Walking
a
along,
blessing and a curse,
sure,
Probably more
sure,
curse
sure.
than blessing, but it's still like, that miraculous element.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there's always a silver lining. And,
Yes.
yeah. Hmm.
Okay, well that brings us to the end of Te Kore, which brings us into our next phase, Te Whakawhitinga ki te pō, which I didn't say it at the beginning, but just as a the kupu whakawhitinga translates as crossing, transfer, conveyance, assignment, or transition. So we have two whakawhitinga phases in this game, which are so this one is Te Whakawhitinga ki te pō, so this is the transition into the night. And this phase is a little bit different, as well as the second Whakawhitinga phase, which we'll play fourth, where instead of individually answering a question, we answer them communally. So I am the Kai Timata, so again we're going to do that reading, and then we will go into those questions. Okay, here we go. First came Te Kore, then came Te Pō, but there was a space in between.
A time of transition, of crossing over, a time where the void and the night blended and mixed into each other.
The absence of everything in Te Kore faded into simply the absence of light. The void clears and whispers. Shades of darkness seep in through the cracks.
Forces of the world to come begin to stir, getting ready to open their eyes.
We walk backwards into the future, our eyes fixed on the past.
Okay, so in this phase, we ask questions about the two neighboring phases. So the topics from those. So we have from Te Kore, we have spirituality, concepts, deities, times, and values again. And then we also have from Te Pō, the whenua / the land, the seasons, stars, plants, trees, oceans, rivers, and mountains. So in this, we have to combine from each of those.
Mm.
And I am the Kai Timata, so I guess I will go first. So what we will do is I will ask my question, and then we will all answer it, and then we'll move through. So, okay.
There's also only one round here, right?
Yes, that is correct. We
Done
only have
quickly,
one
yeah.
round of questions in this one.
Yep.
Okay. I am really liking our. I think I want to explore our timer more, so I'm going to ask a question about that. And how does our concept of 10 tens of time line up with our seasons? Do they align closely? Are there 10 seasons? What is the relationship there?
Okay.
And now we answer that.
Okay, so we collectively answer that
Collectively answer
immediately.
that. Okay.
Right.
I think, Mel, you said earlier, like, they mostly align, right?
Yeah, but that's because. Well, my initial thought was like, well, do you. If we have 4 seasons and 10 months-esque, or do we have 10 seasons? What does 10 seasons look like?
Yeah, I mean, 10 seasons could be like similar to our 4 seasons, but like broken down even further,
Mm. Well, there's the Wellington
I was
actual
just
calendar.
thinking that, yeah. Yeah, so Wellington has 2 seasons entitled Shitsville.
Yep.
And they are not they're not together. They're just
We have Shitsville 1, then there's Spring 1, and then there's like Lying Spring. Yeah.
yes, Lying Spring, Shitsville 2, then Spring 2.
We could have each of like the seasons align with one of those aspects too. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like even if it's not like physically representative, but it could still be like named after or considered like the season where
yeah.
you do that thing, kind of.
Hmm.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Chat has asked, how fantastical are the seasons? And I think that's a great question. Because do we have the season where dragonflies? You know,
Yeah.
that's or the season where gravity turns off.
Sorry, the season where dragonflies.
The bug.
Yes,
What do the dragonflies do? They
I
everything.
think dragonflies exist. Yes, yes, a
Yeah.
season where there are dragonflies.
See,
But yeah,
I was confused. Did you mean like the bug, or did you mean like dragons? You know,
no, I meant
flying.
like where the world is, where it feels like the world is 90% made out of dragonflies, like locusts.
This is a concern. This is a concerning climate.
I've suddenly decided I don't want to live in our world.
Or how about is there a season where there's no gravity? Or
If
are they
there
fantastical seasons, or are they seasons that a meteorologist on Earth would understand?
It's a good question.
I wonder if there is maybe a, just thinking about what first off, I kind of wonder if just thinking about dragonflies, whether there is an associated animal or insect or something for each of the deity aspects, and maybe those the yeah, and secondly, well, maybe the gravity does. I don't think it ever goes away, because you'd have it would be seriously disastrous if it went away and then came
Maybe
back.
it entirely goes away when
But
one of the
does it?
deities walks the earth and everyone's hiding in houses and caves.
I believe that entirely. But I mean, maybe the gravity does vary a bit from season to season.
So quite fantastical.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly get a bit fantastical,
Cool.
a
So
bit
we've
too
got
quite.
associated animal, and maybe like that animal is quite present in that season.
So yeah, maybe.
Cool. And then we've got the gravity changing. Very cool. So
I think
there we go.
that's
We're working in both the dragonflies and the gravity.
Sure, that's yeah.
So the climate changes quite frequently. So like once every 10 days? No, wait, once every 100 days or so. Oh, that's about a season.
No, yeah, that's
That's about an
not half
Earth
the season, yeah.
season.
But
That
yeah,
makes
a bit
sense.
longer. But yeah. But yeah, that's not so that isn't terrible actually.
Yeah.
You could live
And that's a
with it.
tens-ish.
Hmm.
What's a 10 tens?
Yeah, that
Cool.
makes sense.
Mal, your question
Yeah,
now. Oh, sorry.
makes a cycle. Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum. I want to know about the things that exist in the space between us and the aspects.
Okay.
Are they of the land? Are they of the specific parts of the land, or are they simply, there? What? How do we relate to them?
Are you thinking of like magical creatures
I'm
slash?
everything.
Oh, okay.
There's, at one end we've got us,
Mhm.
and at the other end there's the deities that create that split out of the original primordial. So what's in between us, and how do we relate to them?
Okay.
Or is it a very quiet world?
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of dragonflies.
With sporadically a lot of dragonflies.
Well, maybe we could have because we know that there's lots of different animals. We have quite an abundance of animals, and
Mm.
those animals are related to those aspects. Could be maybe each of those animals has their own there is one what am I trying to say? There's with the dragonflies, there's the head dragonfly kind of thing, or the
Oh yeah,
aspect of
right,
dragonflies, or there's
right.
a story about you know when dragonflies were first created, the first dragonfly did this thing and is now
Their
special to the
platonic
And thus,
dragonflies.
ideal
right,
Yeah, the
of
yeah,
platonic ideal of dragonflies.
right.
yes.
And this became the ideal, the apotheosis
Yeah.
of dragon template for all
So
future
there's
dragonflies.
a demigod for everything.
Yeah.
That's a lot
Some,
of demigods.
well, I was going to say some better known than others.
Some better known than others, and I'm sure some
Yes.
better liked than others as well.
The mosquito
Possibly,
one is not very
possibly.
well liked.
Except by the fish one, except by the people who fish, because
And probably the dragonfly from the
yeah,
dragon.
because the
I was going to say
mosquitoes
more dragonflies is
have a
yeah,
position in the ecology.
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
They're fantastic food.
they're fantastic food. So, the fisher people are probably like, yeah, well, the mosquito ideal is he can be a pain in the neck sometimes, but we couldn't do without him. And all the people who do not fish are like, are you sure?
You sure we can't do without them?
Hang on, wait, what is the role of mosquitoes in fishing?
The fish eat mosquitoes.
Ah, I didn't know that. Oh my gosh.
They can be a pretty substantial staple.
Oh,
Um,
the more you know.
No,
you
we are
can't. I mean,
not going to
they're a
give
bit
people
small to use as
tastiness
bait.
as a statistic. No.
So,
Chat wants
What
to
was
know,
it?
is tastiness part of the stat block?
Sadly, no.
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 Cool. Are we happy with that answer?
I think that's a good answer.
I like it, yes.
I
Great.
like that answer a lot.
Tom, your
Now
question.
I've got to come up with a question.
Unfortunately, that is the mechanic of the game. Yeah.
That is that's the point of the game. All right. Okay. All right. All right. I'm thinking about maybe something to do with the mountains into which the dead go.
Mm.
But I'm trying to think of a question related because I'm curious about them. So
Like, do people live there?
yeah, okay, yeah, sure. Do people live there? What kind of what? How oh, I'm lost.
Maybe something like, what is the relationship between the people and those mountains?
I think
Or
yeah.
Mm-hmm,
Actually,
mm-hmm.
that's a good. That's sort of what I was. Yeah. What is the relationship between people and the mountains, and thus with the dead, and maybe the thus maybe by extension with their own their own mortality and
So Chat asked, do the dead take their body to the mountain? Or
Ooh.
does their body stay down here and their the part that is not their body go to the mountain? Or do they just... And do you go there before you die, or do you go there After you're dead.
I actually
Ooh.
I have an idea, a couple of
Yeah.
ideas. So I think that aside from the people that live around the mountains, you do not you are not at the mountain before you die. I think the part of I think that the living will often bring the bodies of the dead, if possible, to the mountain
Mhm.
to facilitate that person's spirit having an easier journey or a shorter journey in order to get to the mountain's connection to an aspect
Mhm.
and to rest there. So I kind of wonder if there are a whole lot of catacombs
Yes.
dug into these mountains where they're all necropoli. That's probably the plural of necropolis. Imagine.
Probably.
But this, of course, raises this, of course, has some. There are some issues when Grandpa's family are like, oh no, Grandpa would have totally wanted. He would have wanted us to bring his body to this aspect's mountain. But actually, does Grandpa's spirit then have to make a trek across the land to
True.
to another mountain?
Oh.
That's fun.
And what if you actually live 6 months walk from the mountain of your preference? Like,
Yeah,
Long spiritual journey.
but is there an
unfortunately,
expectation that your loved ones will cart you across town across the continent if need be?
Mm,
so I think that might raise a kind of socioeconomic thing
mm.
Yeah.
as well, mightn't it? Because yeah,
Maybe there's like around each region there could be like a because I'm guessing the mountains are like outwards, right? Like towards the edges or something.
yeah,
Hmm.
So maybe it's like there's like kind of designated catacombs in shorter distances.
All right.
yeah,
So
yeah.
like
Subsidiaries.
yeah, there's like like we'll go to the train station over there, like the stop
Yeah,
before the mountain.
like that's
Mhm.
yeah, that seems yeah, but yeah, people find people find symbols where they find ways to symbolically do things that they can't practically
Mm.
do. I
Yes.
guess yeah.
It's like a holy site dedicated to that aspect that's
Yeah.
on
I
the
think
way.
that's entirely yeah. That's probably
But
entirely
maybe it
So
is
entirely
like you're saying,
appropriate.
like it is a big status symbol to like get your
It's like oh like
depending on where
yeah
you live to get your family member all the way there,
all the way there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we shipped Auntie to the Grand Necropolis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not your tiny necropolis.
No, the main one. And yes, it took 6 months for her to get there.
Religiously, it's no different, but really,
And they're
Exactly.
all out from your town. They're all out in the right direction.
I reckon.
So
that seems
even if
about
you
right.
didn't go very far, you went towards your mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And there's like a maybe like a symbolicness in like your family or living people who still loved you, like taking you a little bit of that way,
Mm.
yeah,
even if it's not the
no,
whole way.
it's yeah, absolutely, yeah. There's a yeah, people find a way to symbolically do things
Yeah.
that they uh, can't do the literal
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
of. So,
Okay.
yeah,
I think we will move on then in the interest
Yes.
of continuing
that's
our
good.
game.
Yep.
So this is the phase of Te Po, the Eternal Night. And this is again one of those main phases where we do 3 rounds, each asking a question, and then we choose which one to answer, and we do that 3 times. And Mel is our Kai Timata for this one. So over to you, Mel.
Oh, yes. Yes. The void has disappeared entirely, leaving a world drenched in night, which is different to void.
It's merely an absence of light rather than an absence of everything.
Mm.
Very cool. The rumblings of the world start here. the sky and earth come to in an embrace.
Between them, the rivers and mountains grow. Between them, the future grows.
The realm of becoming begins here. The realm of becoming moves nearly into our grasp.
We walk backwards into the future, our eyes fixed on the past.
Lovely, lovely.
Yeah.
So for this one, the questions, as similar to the as stated in the last one, are the whenua/land, the seasons, the stars, plants, trees, oceans, rivers, and mountains. And Mel, you are up first if you are ready.
Yes. Oh God, ready. Ready is a strong word.
No rush.
Such a...
Whenua, the seasons, the stars, the oceans, the Moana. What is the worst food? Not the best food, the worst food. Everyone agrees it's the worst food.
Very nice. Tom?
It's the worst food. Sure. Yeah, all right. What's the climate like? What's the climate like? Yeah.
Given that our dead go to mountains, what is the role of volcanoes in our world?
Ooh.
Well, yeah. So,
Okay. Anyone got strong thoughts on which one they want to answer?
I want to talk about volcanoes.
Beautiful. Tom, worst food or climate?
I will take whatever you're less keen on.
I would love to do worst food.
All right, I'll talk about the climate.
Great.
No problem.
Riwhi, tell us about the worst food.
Oh god, I have to go first.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Why is it what is the worst food and why is it the worst? And I put this one in land because food is of the whenua. Like you can't dissociate food from whenua.
That's very true.
Okay, I think there's a particular kind of dragonfly that has like it doesn't have that much meat on it, but it has like a little bit when you gather like so many of them, because like maybe in the season of the dragonfly, like at the end a bunch of them start dying.
Yeah,
And there's this one dragonfly that tastes like really sour and bitter when you eat it. But at some point, no one can agree on which like kind of tribe or which region started it. But it became a bit of like a holy symbol / kind of delicacy. And it's like universally agreed that this is like the one dish that you eat when you want to get close to this aspect. But it tastes so bad. It's like bitter, it's sour, it's like crunchy, it's like stringy, and everyone hates it. But it's like known as like, listen, I know it sucks, but if you want to connect with this aspect, you gotta just take the plunge and eat it.
Yep.
And that's the worst food.
Is that a story the people in that province tell in order to get tourists to try it, though?
Listen, they're never gonna tell you otherwise.
It's true. We'll never know.
Nah, we'll never know for sure.
They'll never admit it if that is the case. That's true.
Maybe, but if so, no, absolutely not.
Of course.
Okay.
Someone is
Tom.
disparaging Vegemite and Marmite.
Whoa, no, I'm sorry. You need to leave the stream immediately.
Okay.
No, kidding.
Sorry, which one are they disparaging? Both of them.
True. Both?
Both of goodness.
Outrageous. Are you
That's
putting too much on? You just need a
that's in
little
the
bit.
Oh no. They say in the tricking tourists department that
Oh, I see.
but no,
I
no, it's
that,
not
no,
it's not our fault that the tourists put it on like peanut butter. That's not
It's
they
our
do
not
put
our
fault.
yeah.
fault that they have bad taste.
I mean,
But it is funny whenever you see those like people tasting Marmite or Vegemite and they put like slide it on like Nutella and you're like,
well, that's yeah. You don't put it on there.
Anyway,
All
Says
right.
I, who used to lick the Marmite off the knife. But, love the stuff.
Yeah.
So climate.
yes.
Well, I think we've got a real what's the word? Real gamut run of climates, but I think generally speaking, it's fairly temperate. So there's quite a bit of variation in temperature and weather throughout the year. Obviously, altitude affects that a whole lot, but I think that there are a lot of I mean, just kind of thinking of a sort of centralish province. I think it's really crisscrossed by a lot of rivers, a lot of rivers and river valleys. Okay, the occasional lake. Probably the dragonflies are from the lake district, lake province. That's where all mosquitoes are. No, so I thought, yeah, temperate kind of riverlands in the central province, I guess. But obviously, there's got to be some geothermally formed landforms.
Yep.
Because volcanoes do play a bit of a role, which Riwhi will be getting into momentarily.
Now me.
It's Mel.
Sorry, fuck. Yes, Mel will be getting into momentarily. Riwhi asked about the role of volcanoes. That's right. Yeah, yes. So yeah, relatively nice weather, or not actively hostile to human life weather most of the year. Lots of lots of rivers, so a lot of river transport and boating and such. That's kind of getting into the social stuff a bit, but yeah, I'm imagining.
Cool.
Yeah,
All right.
probably gets wet rather than freezing. I think in the less in the colder seasons it's wet. It's a wet place rather than an icy place rather. Yeah. So Mel.
The role of volcanoes. I mean, I claimed it so enthusiastically, and I have not yet come up with anything while I was waiting for you to while listening to you guys.
That is the problem. You're like listening to other
I
people
know.
say cool things, and you're like, "Oh, that's cool," and then you just forget that you're supposed to be answering one too.
Yes. Okay. What is the role of volcanoes? I think that one of the volcanoes is one of the sacred mountains, but its aspect is liquidy.
Ooh.
Okay.
And that's why that one, because volcanoes is one of the few places where mountains are liquid.
Mm.
Yeah, true. True.
And so volcanoes are the They are weirdly seen as being a kind of an aspect of no, so it's not weird. They are an aspect of change. That's what one of
Mm.
the aspect is about change.
Mm-hmm.
And so they are that's a changeable mountain. All mountains are changeable, but not normally on the time scale that people are
Yeah,
around for.
you can see. You can see volcanoes change.
Volcanoes change. The volcano is the changing mountain, and so that is where change comes from. Change comes from volcanoes. And obviously, when change comes and when change walks the earth, it's not a great day for anybody.
No.
Right, that's how you get the lava flows.
Yeah. But
Some out of landforms.
you can't have growth without change. And volcanic soil is the best soil.
It was very good soil.
There you go.
It's really, really good soil.
Lovely.
So was the I think it was also an element of, well, considering that the dead go to mountains. What is the do the volcanoes? Do they release the dead souls back into the sky, or
No, I don't think so. I think that the catacombs for the volcano is a bit further away from the mountain than standard.
Yes, probably a good idea.
And it is not seen as any great tragedy if a catacomb is overwhelmed by lava. That is simply
That's probably
change
a good
happening.
thing, actually.
It's change happening on a scale we can see rather than a scale that we can't.
True.
Yeah.
Very cool. Shall we move into round 2 of
round
phase?
2.
Yes, let's.
And okay. What do people ride in the ocean?
Ooh. That's fun.
Okay.
Tom.
Well, now we've got a night. This seems like a good time to ask what is the what's the planetary system like? What I guess what celestial bodies are there kind of around this planet?
Yeah. What is the relationship between like our creation stories and then the trees?
Ooh.
Because I don't think we've talked about trees very much at all.
We haven't mentioned the trees.
Okay. Feelings on which one we want to answer?
I would love to talk about either celestial bodies or what people ride in the ocean.
Okay. Mel, thoughts, feelings?
I like all of these, so I'm making you pick.
You guys are making it very hard for us to choose here.
So we're placing the mental labour here on you.
Yep.
Great.
I'll pen one down if you like. I'll talk about celestial bodies.
Great.
Okay.
Cool. Mel, further any change?
I'll take the trees.
Beautiful. I'll do right in the ocean.
Yes.
Awesome.
Oh, that means I'm up first.
That is
Why?
the mechanic of this game. Yeah.
that you wrote.
Why would I write this game this way? Okay. I should have written it so I'm always last. No
Yeah.
matter what, I'm
Yeah.
always last. Okay.
Perfect role.
I think that one of the animals that deities that connects with one of the aspects is a whale. And I think that when you are really in tune with this aspect, you are able to ask a whale to carry you across the ocean. But for people who aren't quite that in tune, we create, or the people create, vessels that try to mimic a whale because that is kind of the main,
Okay.
like connection to the ocean that we have.
Okay.
I think, or one of the main ways.
But what does a whale look like?
Large.
Large.
And I feel like the kind of shape of the whale too, so like rounded at the front, bigger at the front, and then kind of tapering at the
Okay.
back. And then there's always that whale tail on the boats.
There is. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's what I've got.
Always got those two flukes.
Yeah, exactly. And
Cool.
like the blowhole is always somehow incorporated on there. Don't ask me how, but there's always a blowhole.
Yes. All right. Uh-huh.
Right, Tom, celestial bodies.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Right. So I think this planet has probably more than one moon. I am, however, going to say it does not have 10 moons.
That's fair.
I'm going to say that I'm going to say that it's got. I'll say that it's got five,
Mhm.
and each moon is associated not with one but with two aspects that that share an association with that moon, and the most of the pairs are kind of the kind of opposition. Most of the pairs are the opposing ones.
Mhm. Mhm.
There's one of the moons would be, I guess, I suppose the opposing aspect to cozy would be adversity or striving or something. I think maybe.
Yep.
So there are five moons. They're not all the same size, but each of them sort of has maybe not divided right down the middle, but geologically, or in terms of the color of their surface looks, and from the reflected sunlight, there are kind of two elements to each.
Mhm.
I'm thinking like a kind of butterscotch, and then half butterscotch, half blue grey.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
it's not like a pokeball.
Right. Yeah.
You can have
Mottled.
a mottled pattern, maybe a kind of almost leopard print. Um, is it leopards or jaguars that have the outline? Doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter. Um, but there is a distinct kind of two tone or two. Maybe one of them has very distinct areas of really flat terrain interspersed with really large craters,
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Because on each of them, there are two gods that are symbolically there.
Mhm.
Um,
Tides are tricky.
Tides are interesting.
Listen,
That's
the whales aren't happy
that's
about the
interesting.
tides.
The whales are just glad they can hold their breath long enough to just have a dive down and just sit it out sometimes.
Nice.
I think that's
Mm-hmm.
that's the how that planetary system works.
Mhm.
Right, the trees. Well, so they've got a tree, a platonic ideal of each type of tree, and they've got a platonic ideal of the tree.
Hmm.
And that means there's a lot of platonic ideals kicking around. And I think that many of the trees are, I forget the biological term, but they look like lots of trees, but they're actually only one tree. They're one biologically. They are only one. They are one organism that.
Oh, like that aspen forest that's actually just one tree.
Yeah, or the humongous fungus that is.
Yes, or the giant fungus. Yeah,
And
true.
yeah, biology is so weird once you start learning enough about the fun stuff.
Or like bamboo. I think bamboo works like that as well.
I think sometimes bamboo, but bamboo's not a tree. Bamboo's
Well,
grass.
no, it's grass. Yes,
Um,
yes,
so um, that's something that people see a lot of the creation in. That the trees
true.
are also united but still distinct. Um, and then yeah, they have these demigods kicking around. And you've got to be careful with the trees because this one might be the tree.
Ooh.
Okay.
You know,
Tree demigods don't necessarily stand out.
no. Um, like that's one of the things I really like in like Norse
Mm-hmm.
stories is like, well, that's one of the reasons you've got to be nice to strangers you meet because you never
Mm.
know which one might be one of the gods just wandering
Mhm.
around. They're known to do that, you know.
Yeah.
I'll
So,
do that sometimes. Yeah.
yeah. So that doesn't mean that you don't use trees.
Mm.
Um, trees are part of the world.
Yeah.
And all the aspects are constantly in conflict and
Yeah.
in unity together. So,
Yeah.
it's fine to take an aspect, take trees from their place to make a cozy thing. That's fine, but you got to be nice about it because this one might be the tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The process of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
There's maybe a little prayer of Thanksgiving
yeah,
when
yeah.
you go a lumbering.
Yes, and there are stories of people who are not appropriately kind to something that turned out to be the tree, and it was bad news all around.
Mm. Very
Mm-hmm.
good. Shall we move into round
Good,
3
good round,
of
yeah.
Te
Yes.
Pō?
Let's.
And I start again.
You are
Plants,
up first.
stars, seasons, the land, and mountains.
Yeah.
Um, the hmm.
I feel like animals also count in here.
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't going to say anything because they're not in culture either. They're just sitting.
No, I just noticed that too. And now I'm like, shoot.
Well,
A little bit late now, unfortunately.
Second edition. Second edition.
Yeah, there we go, there we go.
um, plants,
Hmm.
trees. Um, so Cambrewite in chat asks, I've just got here. What's going on? We are building a world by using the Socratic method of asking each other questions. And currently we're asking each other questions about the land, the seasons, the stars, the plants, the trees, the animals, the oceans, the rivers, and the mountains. And we have gone extremely metric. Everything is based on tens.
Yes, that's far.
I'm getting a blank. Someone else go first.
All right.
I've got one.
Go.
Awesome.
Given that the kind of lightness and darkness is a theme of ours in this world, what is the significance in our kind of view of plants of photosynthesis?
Ooh.
Okay.
And what's under the earth?
Ooh.
What's under the place where the people are? Because it's not under the earth. It's because this isn't the earth.
Under the ground, you're meaning?
I leave it to you as to whether it is a metaphor or a literal question.
No, okay.
Tom, what is your question?
It's on me. Okay.
Yep.
Well, we've had not necessarily particularly not yeah. We've had some more kind of less high stakes questions as well. We've had a question about what the worst food is. So I'm going to. What's the most popular place to go on holiday?
Ooh.
Fun.
I'll ask. What's the where do you go on holiday? What's really popular?
So I don't know what you're talking about. The food one was very high stakes to me.
Yeah.
Sorry, true. Yes, not true. Yes, but that's more about. I guess yeah. I guess it's more about people's
Yeah.
lives and
Yeah.
than the
Yeah,
facts of yeah.
we got
I
you.
want to answer about the holiday spot.
Nice. Tom, other thoughts?
I can try and tackle photosynthesis.
Beautiful.
And
Oh,
you're
I'm
first
first again. Okay, that's fine. I think, in our view, I'm going to take it metaphorically.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think in our mind there is a place where the world gets so dense, like the ground beneath us gets so dense that it's just darkness. But again, we know that that darkness is also that light.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it like in our mind it like condenses and gets very very heavy, and like a lot of pressure. So like in our minds, it's very dangerous to ever go down too deep because you might fall. You might you'll dig too deep and you'll get kind of crushed from that weight.
Mm-hmm. The
Which is
gravity
not
might go up while you're down
yeah,
there, and
that would be quite stressful.
Well, no, technically.
Forgot about the gravity.
Mm.
That's my answer.
Gravity can
Okay.
reverse, certainly.
Yeah.
What is the most popular holiday spot? It is the mountain of. The closest word that we have is dance. The closest English
Okay.
word we have is dance, but that is not quite the right word. It is the the aspect of the aspect that rules at house clubs and children running along the beach and just the aimless, enthusiastic living in your body.
Okay.
And it's not hedonism precisely, but some people do get very hedonistic while they're celebrating it, because it is about being it's about being in your body.
Mm-hmm.
So you dance, you you swim, you experience lots of different tactile feelings. Yeah, and this is at the city is at the base of the mountain for this aspect. So it's a big deal if you can go all the way there. But it is the place to have a holiday.
Yeah. Very nice.
Very nice, yeah.
Cool. Tom, tell us about photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis. Well, sorry. Remind me what of the context, because you mentioned a context as well.
Yeah, it was given kind of the role of like darkness and light in our kind of view of the world. What is the significance of photosynthesis
Right.
in relation to the plants?
So okay, so yeah, certainly. Well, yes. So given that we see light and darkness as in fact two forms of the same thing, as to us darkness is just a combination of colours. I think that photosynthesis, when it is kind of discovered, figured out, it's, I think, going to be the fact that this is kind of how plants work and how plants are nourished. I think it's I think that culturally in terms of the values, it'll make a whole lot of sense, because plants as a getting slightly technical, photosynthesis has a light phase and a dark phase, and both of them basically need to happen in order for the process to fully complete. So if you have a plant kind of constantly exposed to either darkness or light, you don't get the full process happening properly. So I think it makes it's going to make a lot of cultural sense that plants as an example organism, as a microcosm of life, need to have both need to have some light and also some darkness. That both of them are needed in a regularish sequence. I think it'll make a whole lot of cultural sense, and it's really an example of how all of us as living beings need all of us have our physical and mental
downtime.
Uptime and downtime, mental and physical cycles, and we can reject neither light nor dark, because we need both of them. I think that's really the
Mm-hmm.
significance.
Very
Yeah.
good. Lovely. Well, we move into Te Whakawhitinga ki te marama, the crossing over into the light. So this is our second and final Whakawhitinga phase, where again we ask one question each, and we all answer them communally. So we'll ask one, answer it, ask, answer, answer. And starting off with our words or our reading is Tom as our kaitimata.
Thank you. Striking contrast forms. Dark and bright, shadows and light, cold and warmth.
A dichotomy bleeds into the world, a choice between the night and day. We already know which will win. It could never happen any other way.
Seeds of life planted and watered, ready to grow when the sun appears.
The cycle of night to day will continue, an imitation of this time, a memory of when the world went from the dead of night to the life of day.
We walk backwards into the future, our eyes fixed on the past. So in this one, our topics are again from Te Po, the whenua/land, the seasons, stars, plants, trees, oceans, rivers and mountains, and animals. And then also combining that with the people, the culture, communities, names, creativity, language, ritual, the relationships between the people and the world. So, Tom, you're up first if
Oh,
you're
hang on
ready, or
first.
we
Okay.
can pass off to someone else.
Well, if anyone else has a really good idea, please do step in.
I've got one. It's something that I enjoy thinking about. When does the day start?
Ooh, that's fun.
Okay. When does the day start?
And why?
Mm-hmm. Have you got one, Tom?
I do have one actually.
You go then.
Oh, hang on.
What?
We're in Thingy Bob.
Oh yes, no. You're so right. Thank you.
Sorry. Yes. Sorry. Yes.
We answer that one
We
first.
answer as we
You're
are.
telling.
Yes.
I know how to play my own game.
I totally believe you. Yes.
Yes. Right. Yes. So when
Okay,
does the day start?
and why? I guess that's a fun question of like, why have we always decided it's after the dark, you know? Like, why is it the morning? And now
Mm.
I'm like questioning everything about our own world.
Well, so in Te Ao Māori, the day starts as soon as you can see in the
True.
morning.
Yeah.
But in
Right.
Judaism, the day starts
Sun
at
goes down.
sunset.
Yeah.
And in
Oh,
enormous
okay.
and
Okay.
also
Right.
there's traces of that sentiment lingering around in a lot of Christo-European stuff as well, because we often celebrate such and such Eve,
Mm.
That's true.
because a lot
Right.
of the festivals actually started at sunset. So yeah, there's
Right.
when
Right. Yeah.
when do we start in this world?
Anyone got any thoughts so far?
I'm trying to find a 10 related connection.
Mm.
Yes. I mean, does the so I suppose a sub issue would be is it a fixed is it a fixed time that's independent of like the light levels, or is it tied to light, tied to when the sun comes up?
I feel like it probably should be something with like lightness and darkness. But
Yeah.
where on that spectrum, I guess, is a question.
Midway through sunrise or sunset,
Mm.
maybe.
Or midday?
True, the point
Oh
in
yeah.
between.
At
Yeah.
high noon, the day ticks over, and everyone's like, "Oh no, I was going to do that today."
I'll do it tomorrow.
Might as well do it. I guess now it's today. Now it's today, I guess.
Tomorrow's here.
Tomorrow does indeed.
Yeah.
Well, it does make tomorrow keep coming faster.
Yeah.
It's true.
So high noon we've settled on?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, sure.
why? I guess that's because the most light, the least darkness.
Most likely start. Yeah.
And then the night could start when... Oh no, that doesn't make sense.
I'm also just thinking, is the because of Earth's tilt, the sun isn't necessarily directly overhead.
That doesn't mean our
maybe-
world has one of those.
But okay, true. No, true. No, okay. I was thinking about through. Okay, sun. Okay, the sun does get directly overhead. Then, cool, good.
So,
We have fun shadows.
Tabletop NZ says the time when light and dark are in balance. So, dusk or dawn.
Like, yeah, dawn or dusk makes sense to me.
It does. It does.
Hmm.
It does. That makes a lot of sense to me, actually. Yeah.
The day
Yeah,
starts
the
in
blending.
the space where it is both dark and light.
Would you say the Whakawhitinga?
I would, in fact,
And
say
in
it's
fact, that is in fact the exact right term. Yes, the
Yes.
Whakawhitinga.
Excellent. I think also the... Oh no, maybe that's the rising of the stars is the Rikoriko. No, I think that's dawn as well, Rikoriko and Te Ao.
Mhm.
Anyway, so we've decided the dusk/dawn. Did we decide on one? Dawn?
I think dawn makes sense. I guess yeah.
Nice. And then maybe the dusk is also like one of those holy times as well.
Yes.
I would say so.
Great.
Totally. Yeah.
Right.
Cool. Tom, do you remember your question?
I do.
Good.
Good.
I do. So my question was just what are the important festivals or important festival or celebrations
Mhm.
throughout the year, and how are they celebrated? Which is potentially a large question, actually. But
That's fun. I feel like we've honed in so much on the deities. Maybe we could switch to like having festivals based on the animals or something.
that's a good one. Yeah,
Mhm.
like that
Whereas
idea.
like maybe like at each of their, you know how like lambing season is not necessarily a celebration, but it's like a mark of the passage of time.
Yes.
We could have something similar of like, oh, this is when the dragonflies are breeding, or this is when the eels are breeding,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, if we're not paying attention to the way things are changing, we might we'll miss out on things, and also we will miss out on crucial information about like how we need to adapt our practices.
Yes, that's a good thought.
So very, very, very agricultural.
Yeah.
Yeah, in terms of. Well, yeah.
Pastoral, even is I think like.
Yeah. You gotta pay attention to the right when it's the right time of the year for things. Definitely.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, is it my question now, I think?
It is. It is.
Jumping off that, what do our planting and harvesting practices look like? Because we've talked a lot about animal agriculture, but we haven't talked much about plants.
True. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think that there are people who specialize
Hmm.
in the same way as some people specialize in marking time with the aspects. There are some people who specialize that in the pastoral agricultural side. No, it's agricultural with planting. Yes. Um,
I think agricultural is animals.
that's also
They're
well,
both.
both.
Is it also crops?
Agricultural
Or
is both. Is there a word for just the one plant?
horticulture.
Horticultural.
Horticultural.
Mm.
Yeah. Um,
Is it those people only who do the planting and harvesting, or is it like they are just the experts?
I think they're kind of they're the expert consultants,
yeah.
probably. And so, are you Melly? Are you meaning sort of monks or priests in
It is
the same way as
a
like for time?
semi-priestly sort of a group in that they are
Hmm.
like this is their expertise, and it is their
Mm.
expertise because of their alignment with a element, with
Hmm.
one of our aspects.
Yeah,
Okay, that makes sense.
Um,
Okay, so they're right, so
maybe like
they're
growth is one of them.
yeah,
mm,
it's a good
By the way, I've been marking down
yeah.
the elements that we have so far, and I've got
Indeed.
cozy, change, dance, quote unquote, and then
Hmm.
growth now.
mhm.
So I've got
Okay,
4 out of 10.
So yeah, and like everyone's allowed to plant things,
Yeah.
especially
yeah,
if
that's pretty much like a silly to
your
yeah.
person like died and you haven't got a new one yet.
Yeah.
They've got, they went off to the mountain. We haven't got someone in yet.
So
Yeah, look,
we're
I'm sorry. You're just going to have to starve
yep.
till we appoint a new one.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. Have you got
Cool.
some stored seeds or something? Some
Listen, this
nuts.
person over here was
Have some
like
nuts.
the nephew of that guy, so he
That's
knows some things.
Yeah, yeah. Just
yeah.
osmotically gain some knowledge. I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay, and then we come into our last phase of Te
Indeed.
Ao Marama, the world of light and life. So this is our last and final phase, and it is again one of those core phases where we have 3 rounds where we all ask a question and then choose one to answer. And I am the Kai Timata today for this one, so here I go. The world comes into view, the dark retreating to the edges of the world.
Life forms in the corners, the holes, the cracks where the light does not shine.
It blooms and grows and spreads. The age of humans begins. The breath of life blown into their lungs.
They spread, exploring the world we have created together, the bright light their compass.
We walk backwards into the future, our eyes fixed on the past.
And again, our topics for this one are the people, culture, communities, names, creativity, language, ritual, relationships between the people and the world. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, before you're asking, I did purposefully make it so you have less topics in the start and then you get more. Okay, my question is, I am a person, probably due to my transness, that has a lot of fascination with names.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to ask, are names do people have one name in their life? The humans, is it static? Do their names change? Like, what is the kind of lifespan of a name in this world?
Okay.
Hmm. Um. I want to ask. Um. want to ask? What do I want to ask?
I don't know. I don't know what you want to ask me.
Only you can tell us.
Only you can say. Very reassuring. I'm not the only one.
Yeah, good, no rush.
Imagination is a muscle, and mine's a bit out of practice, and or overworked.
I'm not criticizing. Yeah, it is a muscle.
Also, you've got the people and the culture, and my brain keeps skipping on it like a record with a crack in it. It's no, that's
That's true.
Take away the people, culture. Doesn't have to be the.
Relationships between people and the world.
Mm-hmm.
What are people made of?
Ooh, fun.
And names what people made of. Conceptually, what are the units of social organization for our people? How do they conceptualize things like family and community and such?
Okay.
I want to talk about names.
Beautiful.
I can talk about what people are made of.
Okay. I will do social organization then. I'm not first. Yay.
You're not.
Cool. Well, you are first, Mel.
Yes. How do names work? Yeah, so there's all the classics. I mean, one of the greatest sins that CW Wizard of Earthsea got wrong was they got his bloody names back to front. But I think that you gain a syllable as you go through life. But you don't just gain it because time has passed. You gain a syllable once you feel like you've really made a connection with an aspect of the world. So you start with just one syllable, and then over time you accumulate more syllables, and like there are some sounds that always like this selection of syllables are the volcano syllables. And when you have found peace with the volcano element, then you choose one of them as your volcano name. And so, like, young people sometimes declare they have all of their names, and all the elders are like, "You're 12, and you're claiming that you have 9 names already."
Okay, you're 12.
Okay, honey. Right.
I don't know that you. Yeah.
And then over time, the people are like, I was being a 12-year-old, and I'm rolling back some of those decisions.
And
Yeah,
anyway,
very
that
good.
my volcano syllable was, as it turns out, my understanding of the volcano is not this syllable; it's this other volcano syllable.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's probably a
That's
common.
cool.
Yeah.
I like that a
And
lot.
it's nothing really to do with which mountain you're going to go and rest under when you die. It's you have to learn to integrate all of the aspects, and once you've really understood it, like some days you come out like a lot of people take their dance name after they've gone to the dance place because they're like, well, I spent a week really experiencing that, so I feel like if I'm ever going to come to terms with that, it's going to be now.
Very
That was an
good.
amazing holiday.
Yeah.
It changed me as a person.
Hmm.
Very good. Tom, what are people made of?
So I think physically at least they are made of much the same stuff as as um, as people on Earth are made of. They're made of flesh, blood, bone, other tissues. Um, I mean, possibly the molecularly, maybe there's a bit more of one element or another in in their skeletons and such. But in terms of what more metaphysically, what how people conceptualize themselves, I think there are a number of parts to a person. There's the body, obviously. There's the spirit that will go to an aspect after they die. I think that also. I think there's also and which like just as a body grows and changes throughout life. I think that your name is also is sort of also an aspect. Sorry, metaphysically speaking, your name is also regarded as a part of your metaphysical identity, which as we spoke of, which grows throughout your life and may grows throughout your life, whether or not you're using all of it in your day-to-day conversations with people. So I think there's your body, your lasting spirit, and your name. Possibly there's maybe you also have a spark of each aspect that forms a part of you, which which does lead to you having, metaphysically speaking, 13 parts. But so be it. But it's really that is I think how people conceptualize their metaphysical selves. I think.
Very nice. Cool. Units of social organization. Okay. I feel like it is partially family based. But there's a certain expectation that once your family gets to 10, some of them have to split off and form with other people until they get to 10. And sometimes it kind of depends on your place of like, sometimes like that distinction actually means nothing and functionally you're like still part of the same family. But in other places it's more strict and it's like you can't live in the same house as another 10. You have to be really strict on those boundaries. And even in some places, maybe like really holy places, you like they have to like move to another city or something. But that's very rare.
Oh,
Mostly, it's like it kind of depends
harsh.
on the kind of vibes of your region
Mm.
slash place
Mhm.
slash city slash like how spiritually restrictive your kind of region or area is.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
But there's also lots of room. I feel like definitely got to bring in that found family. You know, it's not
Oh
always
yeah.
just
Yeah,
biological family, like
yeah, yeah.
Nana. Always got to bring in the queerness.
Important.
So yeah, lots of like found family, lots of like family of choice as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
Although it does solve the problem if you have a terrible mother-in-law. You're like, oh no, your family is 10 people. I've got to
I guess I
leave.
gotta go now. Yeah, exactly. I'll
Yeah,
just be
I mean,
taking my wife with me.
well, yeah, families they come in all shapes and sizes. Family can be, one person and 9 cats. Um,
Yeah, 9 dragonflies. Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, 9 cat. Well, yeah, 9 dragons. One person and nine adorable dragonflies with little collars and
yeah. They've got bow ties, all of them. Yeah,
yeah.
different color for each one. Okay,
So
me now.
I have actually,
Okay.
sorry, I have had a random question just arising from your answer there, Rifi. Uh, so if you're going on pilgrimage to somewhere kind of hardcore, um,
Mhm.
and you're in a group of less than 10,
Mm.
is there kind of are there sort of paid pilgrimage buddies
Oh,
that you can
matchmaking
hang
services.
hang? So okay, true, no, true, yeah. There will be matchmaking pilgrimage groups, but like, are there like in the same way there are like there's the whole thing of, oh, they paid some actors to be mourners at this funeral of this person that no one liked. Are there like people that hang out outside temples and it's like, oh, what we're gonna, we've only got 3 of us, so I guess we'll pay 7 of you to come into the temple with us,
Absolutely,
because
there is.
we can
Yeah.
only enter in groups of 10.
Well, that's how
Yeah.
Bilbo got his ticket. Is that the dwarves were
Huh?
all like, we can't be starting a quest with 13 people. Are you
Well, that's true,
crazy?
actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Gandalf,
remember
go
that
and
now.
find
Yeah,
us a 14th person.
There you go.
that's right.
Yeah.
He was
The
introduced to them
Bilbo
as the
of the
burglar.
pilgrimage.
Mm.
The
It was
pilgrimage.
exactly. And it was like, well, I found a burglar, so
The burglar doesn't know
There you go.
that's why he was hired, but
Yeah.
he's not. Yeah, yeah. Okay, no,
Um,
that makes sense.
absolutely there is. You know, like it's like no, like it's like not like a people's job that they want to do, but like some people are really good at it. You know, they're like marketing themselves. You know.
yeah.
Exactly. It's a gig based economy.
Yeah. Exactly. Um. Okay.
Sorry, you are.
My question is, what is the role of people of different ages in this
Ooh.
community?
Ah.
Right. What does mass media look like?
Ooh.
Because
Okay.
there's all sorts of like cottage media, but what does the mass media look like?
Hmm.
Uh, shit, I had a question. Fuck, what was it? What did it look like? That's right. In art, how are the aspects depicted,
Ooh.
or
Ooh.
are they depicted?
Hmm. Cool. Okay. Strong feelings on which one?
Hmm.
Can I steal the art one?
Yeah,
Sure.
of course you
Okay,
can.
of course. Yeah,
You just don't want to go first. Um,
it's all right. Yeah. Um,
How did you know?
I can. I can have a crack at mass media.
okay, then I will talk about ages. So you have your 10 days makes a week, 10 weeks makes a month, 10 months makes a year, which is probably 3.5 years Earth time.
Something like that.
Something like that. But and then if you get to 100 years old, then you get 10 years off. Anyway, but and no, actually, I think that's one of the most important things. Is so your ages, your count of years stays very low compared to humans on Earth.
Yeah.
But I think that there isn't as strong emphasis on chronological years. I think that your progression through the names is seen as more important than your strict chronological age. So that's one of the reasons why the young people claiming all their names early is seen as like, yeah, okay, great. So now you're going to take on a whole bunch more responsibility in line with your advanced wisdom, right, kid?
Yeah.
Let
me tell you about rent.
Have you heard of taxes before?
Actually, that's better. Actually, yeah. Here's how
yeah,
the tax
and
system works.
Like the acknowledgement of something we would call a birthday is not prominent. It's much more like, oh, you've come up with your party name. That's so wonderful for you. You know, it's if you have not yet had a party, we should have a party to celebrate.
No.
Very good.
Yeah.
Mass media, Tom.
Well, I'm gonna say that I think that group consumption of mass media is a much bigger thing there than it is perhaps to us in New Zealand. I think that when a new story of whatever format comes out, be that a radio play, concert, TV show or equivalent, or play or whatever. You already kind of group consume plays, but there's a big cultural trend of audio or visual media being consumed, like in say a village square or something, or I think there's probably often like an amphitheater or something with a big wall or erectable screen or something that's definitely projected on. So it is stuff like stuff like news programs and TV shows they are far more a community event than people watching these things on their own at different times. It's more of an appointment, kind of. I think.
I remember seeing a video. I think it's like Brazil having a big courtyard, like absolutely packed out of people watching probably pirated Dragon Ball Z together. Just like packed, thousands of people.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
and
nice.
I was I remember I was in an island off the coast of Malaysia
Mhm.
when Princess Diana died.
Mm.
So then there were people on the beaches crowded around relatively small TV sets watching her funeral. In like dozens and dozens of people
Mm,
just crowded around. So I think group media consumption is a much bigger thing.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
I do think though that in terms of I think larger communities may well need to have more than one amphitheatre
yeah.
because I'm sure there are still different channels broadcasting different things at the same
Mhm,
time.
mhm, mhm.
So
Mm,
there is there's either going to be some very very active on the spot democracy, or you're going to need more than one amphitheatre to to accommodate everyone. I think that's
nice.
how mass media works.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, how do we represent the aspects in art? Um, they have to be in black and white.
Mm-hmm. All
And I
Ooh.
right.
feel like they, um, whenever you, whenever you like represent one, there has to be like that main representation of that element. But there also has to be, can be very small, but like nods to each of the other aspects too. Because it's like acknowledging that they are still like they
Mm-hmm.
came from that one big, they are still
Mm-hmm.
in some ways part of that one big
Mhm, mhm,
being
mhm.
where they're all together. So,
Mm.
when we represent cozy, it has to also have the representation of like change,
Mm-hmm.
growth,
Yeah,
dance in there too. That's what I've got.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
love that. I really, really love that.
Love it a lot.
Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, and then
Right.
final question of this round, and then basically almost the final question of the game.
Mm.
Oh, it's me.
It is you.
Yes. I thought that's where you were
Um,
going with this.
what? Hmm. Um, what does what rituals do we have that acknowledge that day and night, that light and darkness? Like we talked about that, like dusk and dawn are quite holy times, but what kind of physical, practical rituals do we have to show that those are holy?
Mhm, mhm. Okay. What groups are represented in grammar?
Hmm.
Ooh.
I love learning the different ways that, like, in French, you can tell somebody that you don't think that they're important by, or you don't think they're above you just by saying tu instead of vous.
Mm.
And I love in Maori you can be like me and my friends, but not you.
Yeah. Inclusive versus exclusive.
Yeah, I'm just like I really need that tense in my life.
Yeah.
All right. Um, hmm. What's what's one? What's one here? I'm drawing a blank. Does the Twitch chat have any ideas?
Twitch chat. Give Tom an idea. He's been working real hard. He needs a bit of help.
I can't see the Twitch chat, incidentally, so you may need to read.
Mel will pass on their wisdom.
I will pass on the wisdom. We are wanting to know about people, culture, communities, names, creativity, language, ritual, relationships between people and the world. We're after one final question about these things.
Because all I've currently got going through my head is what's the unladen flight speed of a swallow?
Puzzles and games.
Oh,
that's a good point. Puzzles and games. Yeah, sure. Okay. What kind of puzzles and games are are popular? Popular in this culture.
Mm-hmm.
okay. Which ones do we want to answer? I'm feeling like I would love to answer Mel's question about grammar, but I'm also easy.
Okay, I would like the puzzles and games one.
I'm quite happy with light and dark then.
Great. Go,
Beautiful.
Tom. You're first.
Certainly. So yeah. Given what we've decided about the beginning and endings of days really occurring around kind of dawn and dusk, and when light and dark are balanced, I think it's fairly I think it follows fairly logically that there are quite a few dawn and dusk ceremonies in the cultural canon, marking. I'm going to say marking the start, middle, and end of seasons, like we have on Earth. In such as the like, because in terms of because seasons do mark kind of trends in the balance of light and dark, literally, in terms of relative length of the day and night. So I think ceremonies at dawn and dusk acknowledging that make a lot of sense as something that is done. I think there are particularly probably kind of unique sort of rituals around the poles, because near the poles you actually get forget exactly. Well, not sure how long it is on Earth, but I'm going to say you get some multiple of 10 of continuous day and continuous night each year. In which time is a great setting for vampire movies. Really good vampire movies with a lot of Kiwis in them. Well, one particular one, anyway. But yes, yeah, so I think dawn and dusk make a lot of sense as timing for rituals. I think around the poles, there is probably a uniquely near the pole kind of variant for acknowledging that extended time of light and that extended time of dark each year. And I think particularly around acknowledging the extended time of dark, there is an aspect to that ritual of reinforcing social bonds and cohesion, because that can for many people be a difficult thing to go without natural light for that long. So I think around then we have to we reaffirm our bonds to one another and reaffirm mutual support, and then around the start and end of the continuous light, I think it's a matter of Thanksgiving and then later, and as the continuous light ends, there's an acknowledgement of that was great, but we need both.
Got to have both.
Got to have
Gotta
both.
have both.
Indeed.
Very nice. Okay, grammar. What
Yep.
groups are representing grammar? Okay. I think I'm deciding rather that there are like specific grammar tenses to say when the dead of a particular mountain are being included in the conversation or are affected by the
Yes.
conversation. So it's like, you know, when you're speaking about like something about coziness, there's like a specific grammar tense or like pronoun potentially for like, and I can feel that the dead of the mountain of cozy are here too and affected by this and are playing into this.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's really
And
cool.
for cozy, it's a good thing.
It is a good thing, but
Yes.
say for I don't know, if you're not feeling very dancey and you can sense the spirits of the dance here,
Just
you
like,
might
not
be
today.
like, I'm not feeling it right now, spirits of dance mountain.
Not feeling it right now.
Spirits of cozy, come and hang out with me. Spirits
Yeah.
of dance, not today.
No, I don't.
Or like you're like, oh man, I'm so sick of like, you know, all of these things changing, but I can feel the spirits of change mountain here. I just want things to be the same, you know?
That's where I'm at the moment. I'm just like, I'm sick of interesting times. I would like there to be boring times, please.
Yeah. May we live in less interesting times,
Much
please.
less interesting times, please.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And so yeah, your grammar can be like interesting. You know, the spirits of the assembled change folk. Please help.
Yeah. And I feel like as well there's like a specific one for like maybe like if you want them there versus if you don't want them there.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
That's a good
Also
one.
like a neutral one too, maybe. Just
Yeah.
for
Just
like it's fun.
sometimes they just are.
Yeah,
And
they're just
it's-
present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Something just are.
Okay, puzzles and games.
Yeah, I think that contrary to our ritual life, two-player paired things are uncommon in games and rituals because puzzles and games are, to borrow a term, Noah, and dark and light is tapu. So puzzles and games are places where the numbers don't matter. We try and keep numbers out of it entirely.
Okay.
And so there's lots of wordplay. There are they're not big on games of chance because that's too close to numbers for puzzles and games.
So not a lot of D&D.
No, but also no Monopoly. So lots of trick taking games, lots of
Like lots of bluff games.
lots of bluff games. Yeah. But they avoid numbers games because then you're going to end up back at 10, and then it's going to be sacred, or you're going to end up back at 2, and that's sacred.
Yes, and puzzles and games they're for fun.
They're for fun. Yeah.
Very nice.
We keep the important stuff out of puzzles and games. They're everywhere else. Let us have this
Yeah.
one thing.
Yeah.
It
Too much considering numbers other places. Just give us
makes a lot of
easiness.
Yep.
makes a
Yep.
lot of sense. Yeah. Yeah. Lot of Pictionary. Pictionary also the game that I don't know if there's a consistent word for it, but where you pick a word from the dictionary and everyone write the meaning down, and then everyone else writes down what they think it means or a plausible meaning for it, and then
Oh yes.
they're all read out.
Yep.
And you get points for getting it right, for picking the right definition, but also points if other people pick your definition.
Yes. Yes.
Ah.
And inevitably, there's someone who's not taking it seriously and turns every word into a sex thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
There is a
Right.
game like that does it on purpose. Like it gives you a clue that, like, CUN no, sorry, there. Let me try that again. Like UNT, and then asks you to fill in the blank, but it's actually aren't.
Oh,
Mm.
And then you get clues. But the clues guide you towards increasingly vulgar things.
but it's never the actual answer is never a vulgar thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, that is the end of Te Ao Marama. So we come now to He Whakakapi, or the finishing. And our final question-related thing is we all ask one question, but they aren't answered. We just leave them unanswered. And this can be about something that came up that you were like wondering more about. It can be something completely unrelated. You're like, oh, I wish we'd got to this thing. And that will just be left to sit on its own. And this can go in any order. Does anyone feel like they have one already, or?
Don't we have our poetry?
What? Sorry. Is there?
I believe that we do the question first and then
question
read
first,
this.
then
Yeah.
the poetry. Okay.
Yes.
So my question is, what would happen if an aspect ceased to be?
Ooh, that's a fun one. Tom, do you have one?
Yeah, I do. So, considering that considering why the primordial split itself into 10 to begin with, will there come a time when the 10 merge once more, and bring their differing perspectives together into a new synthesis?
Mm-hmm.
Will there come a time when that happens, and what happens then? If there is,
That's a fun one. My question is, I mean, I'm going to be a little bit stereotypical here, but what is the role of gender in our world? What do gender roles look like? What do people living outside those gender roles look like?
Okay.
Okay, and then we come to our final reading of words. Mel,
Yes.
you're our kaitimata.
Yes. Our world is our creation, held in the palms of our hands, built word by word.
With questions and answers and questions and answers many times over, we've willed this world into being.
We have flowed through phases to create. We have flowed through time to form the world that is now at our fingertips.
The histories of this world press at us like winds, and the future of this world lays at our feet ready to be walked.
This world is our own, and we gift it to the world.
We walk backwards into the future, our eyes fixed on the past.
We walk backwards into the future, our eyes fixed on the past.
We walk backwards into the future, our eyes fixed on the past.
Beautiful. Well, before we finish with karakia, thanks for joining me, Tom and Mel. It's been lovely to play with you. And
It's been
you
so
very much for
lovely.
inviting us.
I really enjoyed this.
Really cool.
Thank you very much. And you can find this game on my itch page, which I believe will be put in the chat, maybe.
I'm chucking it in the chat right now.
Beautiful, thank you.
So cool.
And we will finish with karakia, but thank you everyone for joining us. If you're still here, thank you. And yeah, he karakia whakakapi tātou. I te timatanga ko te kore, mai I te kore ko te pō, mai I te pō ko te ao marama, kei te puke he tātou, hā ki roto, hā ki waho, ka tupu tātou katoa, pērā I ngā mata o te marama, pērā hoki I ngā mata o te ao, kua tupu tātou katoa, tuturu whakamaua kia tina, tina.
Tina.
Homie, huie, tai
Like
kie.
yeah.
So, translation I te reo Pākehā. In the beginning there was te kore. From te kore came te pō. From te pō came te ao marama. We are flowing. Breathe in, breathe out. We will all change, like the phases of the moon, like the phases of the world. We will all change. Hold fast, draw together, affirm. Ka kite, everyone.
Ka kite.
Akite.